This week I'm testing one of my favourite types of bike, naked middleweight sports bike. 600cc's of unfair fun here in this buzzy little bike, which is in fact Honda's CBF 600, otherwise known as the Hornet. Like most naked sports bikes, the Hornet is in fact an unfair version of one of their super sport machines. This in fact is an unfair version of the CBR 600RR, albeit in a slightly different state of tune and with a few other different components from the super sport machine. So let's have a look at what's different. Now the engine is in fact the only thing the Hornet shares with its CBR 600 cousin. Everything else is pretty much different or new. So we've got a different frame, different bodywork, no panels here of course, there's no fairing, we've got a different seat, we've got different suspension components, different tyres, different everything really. What that translates to is milder performance, a bit more comfort, a bit more practicality, and obviously it's a little bit less damaging on the wallet. Now like most naked sports bikes, the riding position on the Hornet is quite upright. It's really good for commuting, coming through traffic, you can see above the cars. It's quite comfortable. The seat itself, again, it's more suited for longer use on the road rather than the racetrack, so you've got a reasonable amount of padding here. The reach to the bars, well, it's nice and comfortable, nice and neutral. And from the seat to the pegs, again, you've got a reasonable amount of space there, so you're not cramped up like you are in a super sport machine. In the cockpit here, well, typical Honda switchgear, good high quality stuff. The dash, well, for me that's one of the little areas that I'm not too happy about, but it has all the functions there that you'd expect and that you would need. The mirrors, well, there's no excuse for making a naked sports bike with mirrors that don't work, and unfortunately the Honda is one of those bikes where they don't really work. You can see most of your elbows, but that's about it. But little gripes aside, the rest of the bike, well, it works really well. Now, as I said before, the engine itself is a retuned version of the CBR 600RR motor. This one's a couple of years old in terms of technology. Power-wise, it's putting out somewhere in the region of 91 horsepower at the back wheel, which is reasonably respectable for a machine that's just over 200 kilograms. How that power is delivered? Well, it's perfect for someone who's stepping up from, say, a 250 learner bike, or indeed someone coming back into biking after a while. It's not going to scare the life out of you, but get it above 6-7 grand and there's enough pep in its step to keep you entertained. Suspension, well, again, you've got some good quality components here. Show off front and rear, fully adjustable. And I have to say these guys have got the valving and the spring rate just about right. For someone me, I'm 85 kgs, and I think the ride quality on this little bike is fantastic. The handling, sure-footed, positive, and confidence-inspiring. Now this incarnation of the Hornet has been around for almost 2 years now, so styling wise, it's starting to look a little bit long in the tooth. The headlight, like I said before, and the dash, it's not really my cup of tea. It could be doing with being a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more up to date, but I'm sure that'll be coming. One thing I do like, however, is this shorty muffler here. The sound that comes from it is absolutely fantastic, but you cannot see from this angle is all the plumbing that goes underneath. On the other side here, we've got a big collector box, catalytic converter, but yet the exhaust note that comes out the end is really nice and fruity and still perfectly legal. Now bringing this bike to a halt is a pair of 296mm 2-pot discs on the front and a single pot on the back here. Again, they're not cutting edge, but they're more than up to the job. We've actually had this bike around Hampton Downs racetrack on a demo day, and I have to say the little Hornet performed exceptionally well and gave us a few of the sports bikes a bit of a hurry up. The only issue that it had really at the track was the ground clearance, and it wasn't lack of, it's just a case of the hero bobs on the foot pegs here touching down before you needed. So there is plenty of ground clearance there, and it can be taken on the track for a bit of fun. So summing up, for me this is a great little bike. It's got a lot of really good features. There's a couple of little niggles here and there, but nothing that couldn't be fixed with, say, a set of aftermarket bars. Now, possibly the best part of this bike for me is in fact the price. Had you bought this bike 2 years ago, it would have cost you just under $18,000. Honda then brought the price down to about $15,000, and now, with their summer specials on, you can pick this bike up for $12,299 bucks. And to me, that is an absolute bargain. You're getting an awful lot of bike for not a lot of bucks. And although it does need a little bit of updating and it does need a bit of tweaking here and there, I think that's exceptionally good value for money. Now we've managed to hang on to this bike for an extended test period, so we're going to have a little bit of a fiddle with it, see if we can set it up just that little bit more personally for us. So to that end, we've got some new Metzler tyres on it, which we're testing out to see how they go. We're going to get some Renthal bars, which again hopefully will be a little bit wider and a little bit flatter. It'll give us a bit more of a sporty riding position and a bit more leverage through there. We've got some handguards coming, which incidentally have some LEDs in the front as well, and we've got some ASV adjustable levers, just to name a few things. So check back in the next episode, you may see a slightly different Hornet then.